All right, so here we go. Let's start talking the NFL. Here we go. First story up. The Dolphins have found their guy, and I absolutely love this hire. I love it, folks. I would say this is probably the second best hire of the coaching cycle. Bringing in Doug Peterson was fantastic. Brian Daboll, a close second, but this one right here, folks, I think it may be a little bit better than maybe Brian Daboll. I think so. So here we go. The Miami Dolphins are going to be hiring 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel to be their next head coach, and I'm glad they didn't go with Kellen Moore. I was never impressed with Kellen Moore. That Cowboys offense has not been as good as they should have been the last two seasons, folks. It was good. Their offense was always good. The defense was great this season. But that offense, so lackluster with Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Ced Wilson, and then the dual running backs of Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, and then having Dalton Schultz as their tight end. That team was crawling with talent all over the field, and we saw that offense just flounder time and time again and be so inconsistent here. And Kellen Moore, I was never impressed with them as an offensive coordinator, as a play caller, anything like that. I don't think he has the chops to be a head coach either. I don't really see the great leadership by him. But that's just my feelings on him. I know a lot of people did like him a little bit. I didn't love him. I never was like that. But Mike McDaniel, what I've been hearing and seeing and listening to this man talk, I'm loving everything about it. He seems like a great leader. He seems smart and innovative. And we're going to hear from other coaches that have been near him, other players that have been near him, singing his praise on him. But just listening to how this kind of man's mind works and how he explains information, and it's so kind of digestible and you're able to pick it all up. And he's a player's coach. He wants the best out of players. He's not, going to be like Urban Meyer demanding, hey, are you good? Are you good? Prove to me you're good. Well, how do I prove to you I'm good? Tell me how many times you won. What are you doing that makes you good? How are you good? Do you see me? I'm a championship winning coach. What are you doing here? Mike McDaniel's not going to do anything like that, folks. That's not what a leader does. So, offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel, and this 49ers team really wasn't that good all year. They were working with Jimmy Garoppolo, who, a lot of people say is, below average and not clutch and anything like that. They had like one good piece altogether, which was Deebo Samuel, and they made it their primary focus to get Deebo Samuel the ball however it was. They used him as a running back. They used him as a receiver. They used him however they needed to get their best playmakers the ball. That's exactly what every team should be doing. Every offensive coordinator should be doing. How do I get the best players on my team the ball, and not just in classic fashion where I have a wide receiver who I have to throw the ball 10 yards down the field to? No. Be innovative. Think outside the box. And Mike McDaniel, I think, is the only coach actively that is truly thinking outside the box. What this 49ers offense was able to do here. We know the defense truly carried them the entire year, but the offense was still getting it done when they needed it to. Week 17 against the Rams, down at halftime, nothing good, and then in the second half they clean it all up. So getting it done in the clutch, getting the offense done in the clutch when they needed to make the playoffs, to secure their playoff spot, it was Mike McDaniel being the brains behind it all. So I absolutely love the hire here. Let's get our board updated here. The Vikings are going to hire Kevin O'Connell. That's not officially yet, just because the Rams are still in the Super Bowl. So we'll talk over, Kevin McConnell once that is officially official. So we'll still keep the Vikings on our board blank, but let's fill in the Dolphins. They get Mike McDaniel, folks. Absolutely love the pick. Love the hire here. Offensive mind, creative, thinks outside the box, and a great leader, folks. Great leader. Leadership is there, absolutely. Alrighty, so that's just our basic, our basic kind of thoughts so far. But let's read what other people say about him. Now, Mike McDaniels is also a part of that Washington football, used to be Washington Redskins team with Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan. He, was just under Kyle Shanahan of the 49ers. So there is some genius, spreading around there. I mean, that Washington Redskins team in 2011 and 2012, I don't know if it went as long as 2013, but when they had all that genius offensively and they still were kind of coming up a little bit short here, that's a little kind of crazy, seeing that in the hindsight of seeing how much success Kyle Shanahan has already had, already getting to the Super Bowl as a head coach. He got to 2. One as an offensive coordinator with the Falcons. We all know how that one went. Sean McVay getting to a Super Bowl, losing, and then upgrading at quarterback and getting right back to the game, no issues. Matt LaFleur, always 13-3. Aaron Rodgers holding them back a little bit. Yes, folks, I just said that. Aaron Rodgers is holding back Matt LaFleur, okay? There is genius here in the Redskins in 2012, 2011. And now Mike McDaniels is going to be able to show that, hey, I'm as good as, if not better than those guys as well. So, man, oh man, that coaching staff, folks, in Washington, folks, that was absolutely fantastic. But here we go. We get testimonials from other head coaches in the league. So let's start with Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh on Mike McDaniels. He says, quote, Mike is phenomenal. His mindset, the way he creates things, his creativity, his outside the box thinking, his ability to communicate with people. He's as good as they get. Communication, folks, is so underrated, folks. Truly underrated. That's that's kind of what we do here on the show. I know it may just sound like a lot of talking to y'all, but literally talking everything through. Communication is truly key, and it's truly key at that kind of head coach leadership position. And that's why you truly get kind of the big picture about Mike Muscala. Just go on any social media platform. There's countless videos of just listening to this man talk, communicating what he's expecting from every player, how they should be thinking about, reading the play and what should be going through their mind every step of the way through every single play and what to look for. And he's able to communicate that so well, folks. Communication is key. It's not Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer communication was trying to kind of, get the best out of people by insulting them. And that doesn't work, folks. Mike McDaniel, he's always positive. He's always bringing everybody up, never talking down to anybody because he knows the value of bringing everybody together. The classic, which I don't know how everybody forgets it, but America is the melting pot, folks. We bring in all the cultures. So the fact that we have like cultural appropriation and all that is just like, this is what we are. We take everybody's culture and we blend it all together to get the best out of all the cultures, because that's what makes innovative ideas. That's what, starts progress of moving forward. And that's what Mike McDaniels brings to this Dolphins team that has great talent. Deebo Samuel, a great kind of gadget player, and I don't want to knock him by saying a gadget player. I think that does have a little bit of a negative connotation attached to it. He's a gadget player. He's not good at anything really fantastic. Like Cordell Patterson. He's not a true running back. He's not a true receiver. A little bit of a gadget player that does it all just good. Deebo Samuel's better than Cordell Patterson. I think we can all say that, and that's not a knock to Cordell Patterson. He's good. But, Deebo Samuel can be used in a little bit of the gadgetry. You heard him if you were watching the Pro Bowl. He threw out the term, I'm a wide back, because the interviewer was like, do you consider yourself a running back or a wide receiver? And it's like, that's what we're asking. It's like, what? No disrespect to the reporter, but what a boilerplate kind of, lame question to ask him. Do you consider a running back or a wide receiver? You do both, so what do you consider yourself as? He's going to obviously say both. It's like, what are you expecting from that answer? But we backtrack. So Deebo Samuel, using the term, hey, I'm a wide back. You can utilize me anywhere. Doesn't matter. As long as I get the ball, I'm going to be able to get it done in space and everything like that. And, what do the Dolphins have? They got Jalen Waddle, similar to Deebo Samuel, explosive, athletic, can win right off the line of scrimmage, has the speed to, do end arounds and pitches and have him in the backfield as a decoy, or just, a great play that breaks big. So having Mike McDaniels with this kind of young Dolphins, great talent all around him. Mike McDaniel will be supporting Tua. And once again, now that we have this more information on Brian Flores and what's been going on, I do want to kind of retract some of the things that, were my knocks on Brian Flores. My knock on Brian Flores when he was actively coaching the Dolphins was that he was never giving the full support to Tua. Now we know that him and Stephen Ross never really saw eye to eye. We weren't really sure if the not supporting Tua was coming from the top down, how much Brian Flores truly wanted to put, his neck on the line to kind of go against the boss and all that. So I don't really know how Brian Flores truly felt about Tua. It does seem like the organization does want Tua to be kind of the main guy, but then we also get Stephen Ross saying, hey, I'm paying you to tank, so, we really can't take anything at face value with the Dolphins, so I really have no idea how we should be gauging everybody's ideas about what personnel is good and what's not. And that's why I am a little concerned about Mike McDaniels here of, what's going to be going on with Stephen Ross and if he's going to still keep paying coaches to lose games and all that. But with Brian Flores, we never got him truly kind of endorsing to 100%. Did Brian Flores want Deshaun Watson, or did Stephen Ross want Tom Brady? We've got that story to go on here, but there is one thing for certain here, that Mike McDaniels is going to uplift and support to 100%. So we'll see how all that goes and how that works out, and hopefully Stephen Ross is not, doing the same things of being like, hey, I'll pay you, we don't want to, I don't want you to say anything about Tua. I want you to lose games. Here you go. Here's some extra money for that. So we'll see. The one thing that's going to hold this Dolphins team back, it's going to be at the ownership, because everything else is good. Tua, we believe in him. We've got players, nice pieces offensively. Definitely need to upgrade some pieces, absolutely. But we have a nice kind of, we got a tight end in Gesicki, who we believe in. We've got Jalen Waddle, who we believe in. Devontae Parker, if he can stay healthy, is fantastic. Let's upgrade at running back a little bit, maybe one more receiver, and I think the offense will be able to be sustainable for the year. Whereas the defense, that was already good. That's been good for 2 years. So as long as they get the defensive coordinator right, this Dolphins team really should be solid next season. So that was Robert Saleh on him. Everything was fantastic. Then we get Kyle Shanahan, who's worked with this man multiple times. Once again, in Washington, now with the 49ers. And this is what Kyle Shanahan said, quote, Mike's a really good dude. He's really good at what he does, and he's himself. He's one of the smartest coaches I've been around, and he's been huge to our team and huge for me throughout my entire career. Kyle Shanahan saying that this dude is important to him. Kyle Shanahan getting to 2 Super Bowls, and he's crediting Mike McDaniels of helping him and being one of the smartest coaches he's been around. That's high praise, folks. That's absolutely high praise. And then we get a quote by Kyle Juszczyk, a player. Now we're getting the player perspective. We love to hear this. Kyle Juszczyk says, quote, absolutely best in the game. Nobody gets more out of his players than McDaniel. Most creative run scheme out there, so deserving of this promotion. So he's a genius in run scheming. Dolphins don't have the greatest running backs at the current moment. Who did we just bring in that really kind of took off at the end of the year when we brought him in? I am blanking on his name, but, once again, just having, solid, maybe average, slightly below average pieces. Mike McDaniel able to get the best out of everybody. Nobody gets more out of his players than McDaniel. This is everything that we want in a coach: leadership, creativity, building everybody up, positivity, communication, organization, and everybody is singing the highest praise of this man. Coaches, players, everybody. This is a home run hit right here, and potentially the next genius coach. We had Sean McVay. He was kind of, billed as a genius mind, a genius head coach. Kyle Shanahan billed as that as well. We got any other coaches billed at Matt LaFleur, billed as a genius offensive mind, and Mike McDaniels is the next one, billed as an offensive genius mind out here, and we believe he can get it done. And just one more note right here. On an article, they say, quote, I hear one positive point. This was before the hire. I hear one positive point for McDaniel was Miami learning Deebo Samuel spent a half hour in his offensive coordinator's offense every Tuesday as that week's game plan was being finalized. Mike McDaniel bringing in Deebo Samuel, having kind of a one-on-one for a half hour every single week to truly be like, hey, this is what we're going to be doing this week. This is how we're going to be scheming it, making sure everybody's on the right page, making sure Mike McDaniel is communicating everything, what he's expecting and wanting for Deebo Samuel that week. Getting together and having that meeting, taking the extra time, going the extra mile, folks. That's always what y'all say about what makes success. Grind. Everyone's saying, oh, everybody gets up at 3 o'clock and then they exercise and then they have a bowl of cereal and then they read a book. They've done all that in the first 3 hours of when they've been awake because they want it more. They're putting in the time. They're putting in the effort. That's what they're doing right here. An extra half hour, just one-on-one. Hey, this is what we're expecting. This is how we're going to beat them. And, you're good with this. You need extra time. You need extra, walkthrough. What do you need? So we can all be there at 100% on game day. And then continuing on in the kind of article right here, in a recommendation to Miami, Deebo Samuel also crediting McDaniel with teaching him how to be a better pro, getting Deebo Samuel and making him even better, making him a better professional athlete, a professional football player, making him better. Kyle Juszczyk saying he gets the best out of his players here. These are two different players saying the same thing about Mike McDaniel, folks. This is it. I am so proud of the Dolphins because it was truly seeming like it was between McDaniel and Kellen Moore, and I liked nothing about Kellen Moore, and they made the right decision to go with Mike McDaniel here, folks. I cannot wait to see what this man can provide and bring to this Dolphins offense. The Dolphins offense has been lacking the last 20 years from Ryan Tannehill. We had Chad Pennington for a year. Why we even brought him in, it still baffles me. To all that. Never getting the support truly needed behind those players. We see what Tannehill can do with the right support around him. He can get you to a conference championship game, but with Adam Gase never getting the support, being kind of billed as an offensive mind, we see how that plays out. What was Adam Gase's downfall? The lack of communication, the lack of leadership. Never, always wearing the hat, the brim below his eyes so you can never see his eyes, never speaking with confidence. I mean, he had the softest voice ever, folks. What the hell is that? And then just never communicating, never taking. I doubt Adam Gase ever took a half hour to sit down with anybody in the Dolphins organization. I doubt he ever did that. So Mike McDaniels, we cannot say enough. We cannot say enough great things about what he's bringing to this Dolphins team. And I would honestly say, folks, that this is probably the second best hire. I think Doug Peterson is number 1, Mike McDaniels 2, Brian Daboll number 3, folks. Absolute home run hitter. There's a lot to celebrate here for Dolphins fans and all that. I know it's hard to celebrate at the current moment because our owner could be a giant garbage human being, and that, details are still coming out, but as far as the people on the field, the front office, those are, whatever they'll do, whatever they want to do, folks. It's unfortunate. But for what's on the field here, the Dolphins, folks, watch out for them next season. Alrighty, so we had Mike McDaniels get hired as a coach, folks, but that was